Will the dollar actually crash? I'm going to show you a video from 12 years ago, and I've been breaking down 2012 for you guys for a very, very long time. There's a dramatic shift in our monetary system, and 99% of the population is asleep to it. My name is Coach JB. What I work to do is make complex macro and microeconomic strategies very, very simple. And the key to this is we help people understand that's from the inside out. So if you're worried about your 401k or worried about your retirement, where most people are in a position where they can't retire, and you want to learn about tax code 7702, look it up. It's tax-free retirement. It's how the wealthy secure their wealth. The banks teach you how to insure your life. They don't teach you how to insure your wealth. There's a reason behind that. So if you'd like to have a free conversation with our team, it's most critical time to do it now before the bull run comes in 2025, 2024. In the description down below or in this social media platform, you will see a free consultation. Remember, there's tons of scammers out there. We don't have an investment platform. I'll never proactively DM you about your investments. Those are all scammers. It's a free consultation. I also am coming out with a tool. We're beta testing it with our Open Academy right now. We wrote a PDF detailed book because one of the biggest questions, JV, what are you doing? I wrote a book to explain to you, to give you for free exactly what I'm doing in these economic times. So all those comments down below and on the social media platforms saying, hey, you never share with what you're doing. I wrote a book. We designed it to show you exactly how I did it the last 4.5 years. And that's be coming out probably in the next week, and you'll have free access to that. So stay tuned. Okay, so let's dive into this. So I'm going to show you a video. I'm going to put this video in the description down below. It's from Follow the Money. And this is a video he put out in 2011, transitioned to 2012. And it says a shocking truth about the US dollar, what media never told you. Now, this is very, very important. Very important. This guy gets it, man. Totally gets it. Okay, now remember, in 2008, going into 2009, the BRICS were formed: Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. The reason why they came together is because America's financial system is in dire straits, and they were tired of the American financial system and bad policies destroying their economy. So since 2009, transition to 2012, there's a bunch of stuff that happened in 2012 that I've been explaining to you. The FOMC was created, Future Oversight Committee for Non-Bank Financial Institutions. The bank bailing committees was created during that time, getting ready for this 12 years later. Okay. Rosie Rios was told to reduce coin and cash usage. We were going digital, but she couldn't because of Obama's rescue plan. The Mayan calendar ended, the death of the old, the birth of the new. And just a little caveat there, CERN, Italy, they started the Hadron Collider, which I don't know if it has anything to do with it. Just a side note there. But we're going to watch this video from 12 years ago. Okay. This guy explains, will the dollar collapse? He says, yes. And it's not a matter of if, but when. And he explains if something happens, then the dollar will collapse. Let's back up just for a moment for financial education. In 1971, we detached from the gold standard, making our money fake fiat money. Around 1974, we created what's called the petrodollar with the Saudis because we knew our money was fake and the American dominance couldn't continue because there's nothing backing the dollar, right? So every bit of oil was traded in US dollars, but something dramatic is happening right now in the system with the BRICS, and I'm going to explain that. So he explains 12 years ago, if and when the dollar collapses, if this happens, and then I'm going to show you how eerie it is and what is happening right now. Make your own decision, of course. And I'll share with you at the end exactly how I'm setting up my financial. And then I'm launching a PDF here in a week to share you exactly what I'm doing. It's not financial advice. I'm literally just showing you with what I'm doing. I don't know what will work for you, but it's worked for me and over 7,000 warriors. So check this out.
Do I think the US dollar will completely collapse? I'll tell you in just a moment. You know, it's funny when I think about it. 3 or 4 years ago, when I was warning Christians and secular America alike on the reality of the coming economic crisis, during that time, I remember speaking to audiences with glazed eyes. I couldn't get anyone to fully believe that a collapse of the US dollar was going to happen in the future. Now, however, so many experts have appeared after the fact with tales of doom and gloom and dates and predictions. And many of the same people that I couldn't convince to prepare just a few short years ago now believe that the US dollar will collapse before tomorrow morning. Friends, listen to me. Today, I want to share with you the one event that you need to watch for that will trigger the real collapse of the US dollar. When this event that I'm going to share with you right now does finally happen.
So I want to make this very clear, okay? It's going to be a slow death of the dollar. I agree with everything this gentleman says. I'm a devout follower of Jesus. God is my present CEO. He was warning people years ago about this, and now people are starting to pay attention, okay? This is going to be a slow death of the dollar because of what he's about to explain. It's not going to collapse tomorrow. If this happened dramatically, it will, but it won't. It's going to be a slow transition. What we're seeing right now, it's a switch to a new monetary system. It's going to be probably backed by a precious metal at some point. It's going to move through a blockchain technology. All countries will have a central bank digital currency, and the dollar will no longer be the dominant currency.
Nothing, and I mean nothing, will prevent the dollar from hyperinflating. The first step to understanding how the dollar will collapse is to understand something known as the petrodollar system. Now, I know that not all of you are history buffs, so I promise to make this simple and painless as possible. Sit back for a minute and I'll explain. In the mid-1970s, a deal was struck between the oil-producing nations of OPEC and be purchased with US dollars. So according to this new oil deal, any country around the world that desired to purchase a barrel of oil had to first exchange their national currency for US dollars. This new oil deal became known as the petrodollar system. Today, with few exceptions, all oil transactions are made in US dollars.
I want you to ask yourself a question. Do you understand this? Did you get this type of financial education as you grew up? Did you get this understanding of economy? Does the news preach about this stuff? No. They tell you the economy's safe. Everything's good to go. The job markets are great. They are not safe. The job markets are not great. There's record number of companies filing for bankruptcy on the S&P that your 401ks are attached to in the stock market. Companies are not doing well right now.
This means that if you want to buy a barrel of oil anywhere in this world, you must pay for it with US dollars. Now, there are a few exceptions, and I'll tell you about those in a moment. If you do not have US dollars, you must obtain them somehow. One way for a foreign country to get US dollars is simply to convert their currency for dollars on the open exchange. That, of course, involves a fee. A more complicated but advantageous way is to design a product and export it to the US in exchange for your goods, and you get US dollars. If you're a small business owner in Japan, you must first convert your yen into dollars to purchase oil. Mexico must convert its pesos to dollars to buy oil.
So that's what gives the US dollar power. Everything has to be converted into dollars to transact oil.
And so on. Perhaps this will help you understand why so many Asian nations since the 1980s have depended upon an export-led strategy to grow their economies. Japan, for example, has very few natural resources, including oil. So they must import large amounts of oil, and of course this means that they must have lots of US dollars. So Japan manufactures a Honda and ships it to the US and immediately receives payment in US dollars, which it uses to purchase oil. As you can imagine, this petrodollar system has proven very beneficial to the United States economy. Oh, and there's one more other benefit that I haven't told you about. Many of the oil-producing nations not only agreed to sell their oil in exchange for US dollars instead of their own currency, but they also agreed to then take their excess profits and then invest them back into the safety of US government bonds. So in essence,
so another thing to think about too that I've shown you guys is that the decreasing of central banks decreasing their holding of US treasuries over the past 12 years.
America receives a double loan out of every single global oil transaction. First, it increases global demand for US dollars, and second, for US debt securities. But wait, there's more, as they say on the infomercial late night. In addition, having oil priced in dollars means that the US can print money to buy oil.
That's great.
Let me say this again. The US can print money to buy oil and then have the oil producers hold the debt that was created by printing the money in the first place. What other nation on earth, my friends, besides America, can print money to buy something and then have those who sold it to them hold the debt for the printed money? As you can well imagine, Washington is thrilled with this arrangement.
Could you imagine being a country and being in this position on the receiving side of this? That's why the BRICS countries came together in 2009, guys. Pay attention.
And has been so for decades. The rest of the world, however, is not so excited about this system. Today, several countries are beginning to move their oil sales or purchases into other currencies in spite of the dollar. Just a handful of examples include Iran, Syria, North Korea, and Venezuela. By the way, that happens to be the old Bush axis of evil. You know, friends, what is happening in our world today makes a whole lot of sense if you simply learn to read between the lines. But that means that you have to ignore the quote unquote official reasons that are constantly crammed down your throat by the mainstream media. When Iraq tried to move its oil sales away from the dollar and into euros in 2002, it felt the full force of the U.S. military bearing down on it. Within days of the U.S. entering Baghdad, the petrodollar system was put back into place. Did you hear about that story on the evening news? Now, here's what I want you to see. When, not if, the petrodollar system begins to crumble, the dollar will begin its death spiral. Right?
Okay, so I want you to see that. Go watch this full video. So this is not saying it will happen. It's giving you education, what you need to pay attention to. Who cares if Jamie Foxx is cloned, guys? Who cares? Okay. We need to pay attention to what's happening. So what is happening is we just came out of the BRICS meeting. The BRICS in the West don't believe the Cold War hype. Check this out. The BRICS want to free their economies from the dollar-based international financial system. They feel exposed to the United States interest rates, which we're going to continue to jack up interest rates through 2025, that can have a negative effect on their economies or for no domestic reason. The dollar-based financial system also provides U.S. with significant advantages in the global economy, which the BRICS see as unfair. They also feel a dollar-based financial system gives the U.S. I can't pronounce that word, influence, sorry, my dyslexia, hemorrhagic influence in the global affairs through, for example, exerting U.S. jurisdiction on all dollar-based trades or investments that flow through U.S. banks' financial system. Okay. This has been the narrative over the past couple of weeks and couple of months. This was on April 2nd, 2023. A spat of recent deal raises chatter of fading petrodollar. Remember, he said this 12 years ago. If the petrodollar starts to collapse, it'll be the slow death of the dollar, and it is happening right now. How long will the dollar last as the world's default currency? The BRICS nations are gathering in South Africa this August with this on the agenda. Okay, so they're working to de-dollarize. This was on June 25th. Boom. Then we fast forward to August 15th, 2023. A BRICS currency replacing the dollar is ridiculous idea. This is what Fortune says the top economist who named the group, unless China and India become allies. Okay. Okay. We start to see transitions. Saudi Arabia, Argentina, and this was on the 24th. Egypt among 6 nations set to join China, India in the BRICS bloc. Okay. So what you're seeing now is a massive transition to the BRICS countries. They added 6 countries to their population. Okay. What you're seeing is a transition in a global monetary system. The old industrial era is dying out. We're moving from Web 2.0 to Web 3.0, industrial to technical. We're moving from cash currency to cashless and digital currency. We're moving from hotels to Airbnbs, taxis to self-driving cars and Ubers. You are not going to stop this transition. What is foolish is not understanding what is happening, not understanding, but understanding what is happening and taking action right now, not waiting till it's too late. So here's what I'm doing. And then within a week, I will have a full PDF for you breaking down exactly what I'm doing, from all the way from self-development down to budgeting to the exact 5 pillars of wealth that I use. Okay. Number 1 is I invested a speculative asset called crypto. Yes, it's a speculative asset. It's extremely volatile and you have to have a solid game plan. 98% of people, I believe, in crypto, just like the bull run, are going to end up rich and be very broke afterwards because they don't have a diversification strategy and they didn't rewire the foundation. So cryptocurrency, I'm diversified across payment tokens, supply chain management, infrastructure systems. Okay. So, and I have a very clear exit strategy. As everybody's coming in 2024 and 2025, excited about crypto, I will be exiting the market. I will pay my capital gains, or I'm going to work to, I'm working as I build my new wealth paradigm. I'm going to start to surround myself with people when I understanding trust and all that things. My wealth paradigm has changed dramatically in 5 years. So I have to get wise counsel. So right now, as I know my knowledge, I'll have to pay my capital gains until I get some other wise counsel. So I'll pay my capital gains, pay my taxes, and I'll be diversifying in Index Universal Life tax code 7702 to secure, compound, and growing, build legacy for my family, tax-free retirement, precious metals, more precious metals. Then I'll be going into more businesses. I own equity in multiple companies across information, technology, and data and attention. And then I'll be focusing on real estate. We'll be getting into real estate for depreciation. So those are my exact plans. And I'm going to be bringing a free book out for you guys because everybody keeps asking, what are you doing? What are you doing? So if you want to see exactly the blueprint, it'll be ready to go. It's beta testing with my academy right now with my warriors. So you'll be able to see exactly step by step from step one all the way through. This is not financial advice. I'm just sharing with you exactly what I'm doing. Okay. 5 years ago, I was in a completely different financial position, but I was indoctrinated into the old industrial era. I realized that rich parents have rich kids, poor parents have poor kids, middle-class families have middle-class kids. It's not a bad, good, or indifferent thing. Until you rewire the foundation and change your personality, you'll always be in the same reality. So it doesn't matter how much money you make in crypto. If you haven't changed your habits or the foundation, you're going to end up in the exact same situation. As my CFO says, if you make $100,000 a year right now and you have bad spending habits, when you make $1 million, you're going to have a lot more bills. So right now is all about financial education. Understanding there is no invisible enemy. There's no reason to protest. There's no reason to go after anybody. Your job is to come here and transmute your own darkness into light. And if every human being transmuted their own darkness into light and worked on what they were supposed to work on and stopped pulling the log out of straw at other people's eyes and pulled the log out of theirs, if they love God with all their heart and love humanity as they love God and they treated others as they want to be treated, we wouldn't need this infrastructure. We wouldn't be waiting for a president to come save us. You've already been saved. You're already powerful. You're already strong. You're already worthy. You're already abundant. But they say make the path to the light difficult so the weak and worry won't follow. So don't believe the bullshit and hype. It's difficult. It's hard. It takes hard work and dedication. What do you think freedom looks like? Look at America. We're sloppy. Convenience. No hard work. No dedication. No discipline. Welcome to freedom. Freedom is here. Freedom is here. Freedom is discipline, consistency done for a long enough period of time to access a new frequency, which becomes your new paradigm. Like I said, make the light, the path to the light hard so the weak and weary won't follow. So do you want a hard path of freedom or do you want a free path of sloppiness? It's up to you. Warriors, rise, get your shit together. Love you guys.